Alright, so here's a little introduction to painting miniatures with just oil paints and what you will need or what could come in useful, tools other than just oil paints. So let's start with the actual oil paints that you'll need. So you'll need the three primary colors, blue, yellow and red, and they will need to be opaque. So this little square on the oil paints shows you how opaque a paint is, or rather the pigment is. And you can't work with just transparent paints because they don't dry quickly. You need to do things in one go, or maybe like paint the model and then just add some glazes with transparent paints later. But one of the things I just said was a lie, and that's that blue and red are not actually primary colors. You need turquoise. It maybe on camera it doesn't really look like a turquoise, but it is, and same for the magenta. Without these two colors you can't make purple. Another thing, the paints need to be of artist quality, at least, not student grade. That's just not gonna work. You need high quality paints to paint miniatures. If you have large pigments, it's just not gonna work, it's not gonna be transparent, it's not gonna be good. Of course you need a black and white as well. The most important color to get of a high quality is blue, and that's because blue is not really, there doesn't exist blue pigment that's really opaque. It's a bit more transparent, at least even the opaquest one, than something like a reds or like a white. Those are really opaque pigments. And so you need, very high quality, finely ground down high pigment blue, which luckily this is. But maybe if you're doing like an ultramarine army, you should consider like priming it blue, maybe, so that even if there is a bit of color coming through from underneath, that it all just works out fine. These colors, it's not, as far as the cost concerned, it's not the same as when buying acrylic paints, in the sense that each pigment costs differently, so not every paint tube will cost the same, even though it's the same volume. Just these paints will be enough for you to mix any color, really. So getting into oil paints isn't really that expensive, because you get, when you buy like tubes that are big, like 35-40 milliliters, you get really good value. These last for a really long time. Your average painter is never gonna run out. But still one of these costs like an average of $12 or something. Some cost more, some even significantly more, but some cost less. Now, as far as other types of paints, there are transparent paints. Just note this kind of square where it's half black, half white. that's semi-opaque or semi-transparent, I guess. That's still fine, you know, you can't always have what you want, so you can't find, or at least I couldn't find a magenta that is completely opaque, but this still works, you know. Now for the transparent ones, you have like an example. This one is a red and a blue, and this one is like a brown. See, like the square here it's empty, and this one is like an empty square with a line, so it's a bit less transparent than these, for instance. But all in all, you know, you can use them like a glaze that you have a bit more control over, because oil paints you can remove. And speaking of removing, there exists stuff like these. These are like makeup sponges. Either like these smaller sticks or larger ones. So you know, that's another thing that's in your arsenal. And of course there are metallic paints. Now metallic paints I wouldn't really recommend, at least in a sense. So these have some really nice properties. They blend really nicely. They go over in one layer. They don't have some of the like bad qualities that metal paints have in acrylics, but unfortunately the pigments are quite large and it is not noticeable when you paint a miniature. So I can't like wholeheartedly recommend them. But you know, maybe I could try maybe making my own and reporting on how that works out. Also, you can kind of change the color of these with your transparent paints. So for example, this bronze wasn't really looking bronze enough for me. It was like a darker gold. This is like a really bright gold. This is a bit darker. So I just added a bunch of red in it, and it looked a lot more bronze. Other stuff includes, well, this blue thing that you're looking at. It's like just a piece of rubber, because oil paints don't dry in the same way that acrylics do. It's a bit more likely that you will get them, you know, everywhere. So having a surface like this can help you prevent you know, painting your table or whatever. Next up we have like a dry palette like this. This one is covered in like an aluminium foil, and that is because you know, I can like use this palette to paint a project, you know, just adding colors directly here, and they will last for like a week or something. And then when I'm done with the project, I can just remove this aluminium foil and put a new one over, and it's all clean, like new. And of course you have like the Pringles. Yes, of course. No, it's this is just for all my paintbrushes. You have a lot more paintbrushes when it comes to oil paints, because you tend to use a brush for putting paint on the model, and then you use a brush for blending it. So I would recommend the AK brushes. They're really nice for like detailed work and stuff, like, you know, if you want to paint the eyes or something, anything detailed. And they last for you know, a long time, considering it's just a synthetic brush. They keep their points for a while, you know, they're sharp. And then, you know, you paint all kinds of models with different surfaces, so maybe you want a bigger brush for blending, maybe you want a smaller, you know, when you painting like shoulder pad or something, this one is really good for like smaller details. And I guess, yeah, you need like a tiny jar like this to put your paint thinner in. This was like a tiny jar of truffle sauce or something like that, and it has a cap because paint thinner evaporates quickly, so I can kind of save, I can use very little of it when I store it like this. It doesn't evaporate overnight. And of course you need paint thinner. This one is like empty. I think it has a few drops in it, but it's a liter and it will last you for a very, very long time. I think this lasted like a year or two maybe. And that's pretty much it.